Good morning, St. Louis. Welcome back to another episode of Who's Talk Mobile, where the M stands for My Guy Martin. This episode, we're going to talk about police brutality. I wanted to skip all introductions because I wanted to make this very clear and very more so, not necessarily a very serious topic, but just something real quick because I see how it plays so heavy in our community that it actually like really gets me, you know what I mean? Gets me going, if that's okay with y'all. But everybody, this is my crew. Me, Artemis Caldwell, founder and CEO of Who Is Incorporated, best incorporation out there, best organization out there. If you ain't heard about it, you heard about it now. What's up? This guy, Gabe.
Gabe Coach, founder, CEO, Flip St. Louis. Become a real estate company in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, I know her.
I'm Avi.
This is the
I'm
best
just a
person.
St. Louis singer.
The best one out there.
St. Louis singer. And
She
I
hot
try
child.
to go to church every other Sunday.
She hot, child. She hot. Watch out now. Watch out. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up because by us being from St. Louis, like we it's a lot that you have to pick up on. More so, I feel that like we got this rule of no snitching unless it's done to us type deal. Like I feel like don't like I've been raised like not to call the police, like they ain't go help this, that, and the third. And my personal experiences have put me in a place to believe that they're only going to worsen the situation if not fully truthful, if not gone their way. You know what I mean? And I say that in regards of how we are taught to be so willing to the badge and cooperative with the badge. So like with that being said, like as an icebreaker, how do y'all feel about police?
Honestly, me, I've never really had a negative experience with the police. Not to say that it couldn't happen, but I think that, I've handled myself in situations where, those things don't come about. I don't look at it as, police officer pulled me over. I don't, try and prove my point and get emotional about it. I'm just trying to get out as fast as possible. So, I do what the officer says. Now, if I'm cooperating and, things kind of escalate, then yeah, I raise my antennas. But, as far as me and the police, I've never had a bad experience. But I do understand that, other people who look just like me have. Yeah. And I understand that the same things can potentially happen to me if I run into the wrong person. So, I'm just conscious of that and, and how I move when I'm, out driving and things like that. So, that's really just how I handle the situation, how I feel about it.
I feel that.
I guess I'll say it this way. I think that in the world we live in, everybody has their own set of standards and their own code of conduct. And at some point, we kind of see in situations where the lines are blurred. And, we got a lot of these movements out here that are moving for the justice for the police system. And then you do have cases where you got cops that are out here, serving to their community and being good Samaritans outside of work and, actually out here being a part of the world they live in.
Yeah.
So we have to separate the two, the good cop, bad cop road. We have to separate that not all cops are bad. Everybody out here, the police. Yeah. What the police do to you, and what you gonna do when you need them?
Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna say that I'm a saint, because I have had, my moments of being in interactions. You know, whether I was just a passenger, or, you know, I've seen things. You know, so
Yeah.
but it's everything is preventable, and at the end of the
Most
day,
definitely.
it's also how you handle situations. But you also not are in those situations when they go south, and we also have to not go overboard and just hop on bandwagon just because we always see quote unquote cops killing people and all this other stuff.
I feel that.
Because some people just be hopping on and they don't like the police just because they see it on the news.
Yeah.
Nah, what the police do to you?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel
And
that.
what you gonna do when you need them?
No.
Go ahead. You got it.
No, I was gonna say. Now I will say this. You know, we can't leave out this fact. You can Google this too. The FBI did write a document that there are, you know, white supremacist groups infiltrating law enforcement, where people who have views, you know, specific views towards us, you know, they're getting into law enforcement just for that cause. And you know, it's kind of not being talked about. It's kind of being let happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I do want to point out that fact that, you know, you do have good cops, but you also do have bad cops. But that's where we kind of got to hold people responsible too. For all of the good cops that are in law enforcement, if you know it's a bad cop in your group, I'm going to say this, matter of fact, and, you know, this is kind of specifically to all of the black cops out there. If you know it's somebody in your division, law enforcement or whatever, why don't you expose them? What are you scared of?
Maybe that's,
You know?
the snitching rule. It still, I guess, still applies to certain dynamics. That's why I said people still have their own code of conduct that they apply.
Yeah. And
You
I
know?
feel.
Go ahead.
And that is true, too. That is true. That is a very good point. I'm glad that you kind of brought that up, because I kind of see, like, even though they are in law enforcement, if you are black in law enforcement, you know, if you... I'm guessing if
Imagine
you...
the pressure it probably is to be a black cop.
Yeah, I
Male or
can kind of
female,
say that, too.
period.
I can kind of
Male
say
or
that, too,
female,
yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Imagine what the pressure is of being a black cop, because you already feeling like, alright, so gang already see I got the badge, so they probably think I'm finna always be bailing them out of scam.
Oh man.
So they probably think about that, but then
They got the hookup.
you know, so they got to think about people who using it to their advantage. And you got to think about, alright, now they think I'm 12. I now got to watch my back because they finna think I'm finna be telling on everybody. You know, but black cops probably got a lot of pressure,
Right.
and we don't give them that dignity or that decency. Let me put it that way. We don't give them that, you know, that little bit of moment to think about, because everybody got something that they gotta think that that's got bubbling in their skin, and who knows what they probably be going through behind closed doors, because there are still certain communities that still believe in the hazing program. You know, so who knows what really be going on behind these closed doors. That's why I said we have to learn how to separate the two without instantly jumping on the bandwagon thinking that everything peaches and creams when it's probably chains and whips, and we don't even know it behind closed doors.
I feel that. I feel that most definitely. It's I don't. Have you ever seen this movie called Glass Shields with Ice Cube?
I think I've heard of it. I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
He talk about it's a movie with Ice Cube in it. Like, he's a black man falsely accused of a crime, and like I believe, like, I seen it a while ago, but like just him, like, but like a black dude was a cop as well in that situation. He knew that the white police officer was lying, and he had to call him out. But it was like, but how they was trying to swing it was the police had their own code of conduct. We a brotherhood. You don't tell on us. We stick together. And I believe it was a situation where they came and attacked the black police officer's family or whatever. You know what I mean? So like you said, you can't. The dynamic of being a black police officer is
There's
like,
probably so much pressure on them.
Yeah.
You know, racism is still real, period.
I mean,
I don't care what nobody say.
yeah.
You know,
But
because
that is true. all in all, but I would say this: racism will be there no matter what.
It
So
doesn't.
why not
I feel like it
just-
don't have to be though. Racism is taught,
On me.
not
Yeah.
earned.
Yeah.
Racism is taught. You're just not born hating a certain minority of people. That is taught. So why can't it stop?
It was a time before racism, like, which was the 1600s, before people introduced the selling of people. You know what I mean? So it was. So I believe like it's gonna be a time after that, or not necessarily. I don't put a thought to it, cause like I believe hate and racism is like taught. You know what I mean? Not necessarily taught, but like manufactured. You know what I mean? So like I feel the younger generation, they don't really care about racism. You know what I mean? They more so like bandwagon. You know what I mean? They with whatever's going on. But like whatever I feel like whatever's in front of them, that's what they care about. They really want to just jam and do their own thing. As we see, it's like a dancing generation. They just want to do their thing. You know what I mean? And it's just like I really honestly feel that racism is already dying down with our generation, because now for sure we not going for it. We already know. Put me in 12 days, I'm done. You know what I mean? And it's like we may talk it, but I know a couple of us gonna like fake it till we make it, and then all of a sudden put ourselves in that situation. And like you were saying, it's been documented that white supremacist groups are entering police and other fields of just more so where they got weapons or authority. It's also on YouTube that you can find out that the KKK has returned. They're going to use militarized tactics to get more people and train. You know, the KKK is heavy in West Virginia. So what they are doing, you got a lot of returning soldiers that's teaching their brethren things that they learned at war.
And there's a whole bunch of other groups, not just the KKK.
Yeah,
There's
almost
a whole bunch of other
most definitely
groups who had the same, ideologies, just different names.
Yeah, most definitely. And say as you must, but I believe personally that the police, or however you may want to call it, are terrorists, man. Like, they terrorize people with, like, they have a group of people terrified of them. Like, they have, like, the black culture trained their young to, again, obey. This, like, we taught about that. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by, like, it's mentally subjectifying us to be scared of you, or not necessarily scared, but just put a certain respect of, like, it's either put up or shut up type mindset.
I think, because, and like, this is honestly how I looked at it at one point. It's like you can literally feel the kind of power the perceived power in society that they have over you.
I feel that.
Like, you can literally feel that inside of you, and I think that prevents us from doing certain things based on what we've seen in the past, based on things that have happened, and not just like from what we've seen in this generation. I'm talking about things that, like, our ancestors have been through and our ancestors have seen. Because that's also passed, those experiences are also passed down to us. So I think it's like we feel that, but it's like at a certain point you just got to come to a realization that this is just another human being with a gun and a nightstick and a badge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you still have the God-given right to defend yourself in any situation that you feel the need to.
Yeah.
So this is my thing. My philosophy on it is stay calm, and when things escalate, immediately go into defense mode. At that point, it's just all about surviving the situation.
just a real quick interjection. I know I'm sorry, but like it's like I've heard a study that what they do to dogs is they teach fear. Fear is like passed down like psychologically inside of them. So like the reason why they would kill the dog after a dog fight is to show that the other dog, you respect me. You know what I mean? And now when the dog goes to have mates and they breed and whatnot, now the babies have like a psychologically connection to don't do this. You know what I mean? And so I just found that real interesting. I'm gonna come back to that, child, and I'm gonna find out exactly where I got it, because it's a real interesting study, dog fighting. But it's just to see how that stuff is just passed down. So I see exactly what you were saying.
Here's how I'll put my view to it. The power of perception is in the eye of the beholder. Whatever is taught and whatever is received is based on how that person receives it. If you are, let's say, raised in a broken home, something traumatic happened in your life, fast forward, you end up, either in that crossroad to where you take the good route, you go, whatever, let's say it was going ahead since we're doing it, police academy, or you go join this gang,
Okay.
The streets would reject that person for taking the better path and almost feel like he turned their back against them. And then that person could go back in the long run and end up turning into the worst cop to that community because they could turn him away. It's like it could be so many things that can be manipulated and twisted. All these situations can be manipulated and twisted. We can't just it's like you can't just point one finger, because yes, power is real.
Yeah.
But how much power are you willing to let overrule your own?
I mean, and it's like on one side I'm shunned, and on the other side I'm terrorized.
Exactly. So that's why I said the power of perception is in the eye of the beholder. Everything is in people's control. Who's controlling what is just depending on how the situation is unfolding and what is happening. These cops nowadays have to realize that we living in a world to where everybody feels like they always got to defend something. They always got to be about something, be in front of something. And always quick to be trigger happy is not the key. Now, with that being said, us as a community have to stop thinking that, like I said earlier, all cops are bad cops. Because that is not true. And people always instantly get to panicking and then getting all anxious as soon as they see the police, and you're drawing attention to yourself, making yourself look suspicious, which is why they treat you the way they treat you. But if you would act like a decent human being and treat them like the cop that's just trying to do their job, a lot of this probably could be avoided. But like I also stated earlier, you never know how those situations were really going on because we were not there.
True.
So
I can say this: don't give nobody a reason.
To make you.
That's why I say
stay.
That's why I say stay calm when you're in the situations. Stay calm. But if they make it into or they escalate the situation, then by all means survival mode.
Most definitely respond before we act.
You don't provoke that shit.
Most definitely.
I ain't gonna never sit here and smart mouth no dang gone cop for no reason, man. That is the dumbest thing you can ever do. What is the point? I've seen so many people talk that gun ho, man, if the police pull me up, I'm gonna be like, fuck that. That is the stupidest shit I ever heard. You going straight to jail with your dumb ass. Why would you sit there and do stuff like that? You're just asking for it. Like, it's so much stuff. It's just how people perceive it. Once you can change the perception of what you've been taught, things could be so much smoother in reality. But because everybody is holding on to these bad habits that they've been taught, everything is chaotic now. And now we have this don't stop shooting black people, and Black Lives Matter, and now we have all of this stuff rolling around, all because of all of this extra judgment, and nobody is actually just winding back and sitting back and just letting people do their jobs and actually doing what you got to do to keep your stuff safe without being extra.
On me. On me.
Everybody got to you ain't always got to make a scene, man. You see so many stupid.
And I think that's like we kind of got a habit of being emotional in them situations,
Yeah.
and I understand
For
it.
the clout.
Yeah.
Man,
And
I'm on live right now, man.
Yeah, and it's like I understand it. You know, you're emotional about it, and you feel a certain type of way, but don't react on emotion. You know, or don't act on emotion, because emotions fade away.
Yeah.
You might not. As soon as he pull off, you might not feel the same way no more. You know what I'm saying?
No, you know the average black person still be like, man, that motherfucker.
He ain't gonna feel the same way tomorrow. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
about to wake
you
up
know.
and see that ticket and start over. I'm just playing.
I mean, keep that same energy until your ticket paid off. Get out of here. But yeah, on the ending note, just where who is interject with that, that's that understanding positive and negative consequences. Always respond before you react. You know what I mean? Know the situation. Like you said, that gun ho, I'm a do. You only got one clip to their arsenal.
Kill that shit, man. Y'all
Yeah.
just be setting yourselves up for failure.
On me.
If you just cooperate, half of y'all won't end up in a damn chokehold.
See?
Factuals.
And just to more so, and to just rewind it, be positive and act selfless. Just like you said, if you're doing something, not to be extra, but like you said, not like you cooperative, but it's just you're calm. So I don't gotta. If you ain't on it, I ain't on it. And you know what I mean? That's in the sense of being positive, being neutral. You know what I mean? So, and then acting selfless. I just want to end it like, thank you, y'all, for giving me our time, and we not in no trouble, and we being perfect examples for anybody out there that say the youth don't do nothing, our heads not on straight, this generation is going down, or however you want to put it. We us three, Artemis, Ivy, Gay, all three of us, we are here to ask, talk, and be recipients of whatever message that the older generation has, or whatever community wants to come up and talk. We are against white supremacists, but we'll hear you out. To the most part, you still suck, but I don't know who is. No, we see that everybody need help. Our circumstances aren't our choice, and together, I believe we can change some lives. Simple as that. So yeah, we signing out. Deuces.